Aloha, aloha, aloha. Welcome back to the Real Trash Podcast. With Noah James, the podcaster Noah James. Aloha. Welcome back to another Real Trash Podcast where we talk about anything trashy on our podcast, from celebrity news to Disney news, because you know I love Disney news, from politics, and then usually sometimes I like to talk about my weekly, how my week has been. And you can be the counselor, and I'm going to talk to you and vent and how I feel this week, and you get to be involved with my week. And so, yeah, how exciting this podcast is. And I welcome anybody to my podcast. As you can see that my introduction, I have that as my introduction because this is what I like to do. I like to dress up. Is that for Halloween? That was my Halloween picture. So everybody's welcome, gay, straight, transgender, whatever you are all welcome to the Real Trash Podcast. Yes, and the best thing that I talk about on this podcast, my number one thing that I do talk on this podcast is about disabilities, from all the disabilities. And here I am. I'm going to welcome you into a little introduction of myself. Yes, my name is Noah James Markham, and yes, I have disabilities. I've had a disability since I was very young. Since the day I came out of my mother's stomach in 1998, I was diagnosed with hard of hearing. And yeah, so it is something wrong with my ears that I can't hear. I can't hear normal, like regular people's ears. So, yeah, I've learned sign language at a young age when I was growing up. And now I know how to communicate with deaf people. And I know how to communicate um, by listening and watching what they are signing and interpreting. So that is so cool. That's a cool gift to have. And then also, I was diagnosed on an autism spectrum, um, autistic spectrum, and then I have intellectual disabilities, so learning disabilities. So if I need help, I might need extra time on my tests, or I might need help with, focusing on my lecture or whatever the teacher's saying, and interpreter, so I can better understand than instead of doing notes um, by myself, and let somebody else do notes for me so I can watch what the lecture's about. Also, I might need extra help in my testing scenario. So it just varies, and I know it's very hard for people to comprehend this. And like I said, not every disabled person is going to be as joyful as me. They might have had the disability as long as me, but they're not as happy with their life. And then you might have some people that have had it this long and are happy. And then you might have people that have this one later on in their life and they are happy. And some people have later on in their life and they're not happy with what they have. So it varies how it is. And I want, like I say, aloha. Yes, I am from the island of Hawaii. And welcome. The Ohana is welcome here. So yes, let's get into this week. Oh, geez, it's been a crazy week. This week has, let's just say, it's been a tricky week this week. Um, this week, I had to go to the doctors. Um, and like I said, I'm always, and it's good to talk about this because I am dealing with my mental health right now. So it's been a long journey this whole year, really trying to figure it out. And I've been on meds, and they're still trying to figure out the meds that will work good for me. And so I'm very cautious of what meds will work for me. And if you feel different, if you feel weird with your heart or anything like that, please go notify the doctor. I'm no doctor, but like I told my doctor, I said, doctor, like I don't like that feeling, you know. This is the second meds I had, and it's still my psychiatrist gave me, and I'm still feeling weird about it. So she's like, okay, just lay off of it until you see the psychiatrist again. So hope I should see my psychiatrist this week again. Yeah. So really, I just like I said, I've been it's been tough with knowing what you're going to do with the rent and um, yeah, so that's a tough thing. But what was exciting this week, that actually was something that was exciting this week, that um, Kamala Harris had her first interview with um, her vice president on the side. And they had an interview, and it was such a good interview on CNN. It also had CNN was, yeah, the one that broadcasted it. So the first exclusive interview, and it was in Savannah, Georgia. Yes, I love Georgia. I do love some Georgia. Okay, I do love some Georgia. If you hear me out there, Georgia, yes. Um, yeah. So this week has been interesting. Um, there's a lot of hate, but you can change your aspect in life, right? You can change just because that person is miserable and trying to be negative. You can change that aspect into a different aspect and be more positive. And I know it's hard for people to do that, um, but I just ignore um, that stuff. Oh, this week also, I forgot, I did go Gen Z. We have a Gen Z candidate in Congress in the Capitol. So that is amazing. I got to see him in person. And that is so exciting, so amazing to see my generation be able to stand up to the plate and get into the Capitol now and make some moves, right? Because we do new younger, and so he is from Florida, and I know there's a lot of Florida stuff right now that are not as good there. Hopefully, it will change soon. I just saw something on TikTok, excuse me, um, that there was a shooting in Disney World. So that's just irritating to hear things like that. I know there was also a shooting here and in Arizona, and it was an ASU Asian. He was Asian, um, but he was a domestic abuser, and so he had a gun. And that's what frustrates me is the first time you hear that, and then you hear the news that somebody got shot um, because of that domestic abuser. Um, that concerns me a lot, even more in Arizona. So hopefully we will have common sense gun laws. As I see in Hawaii, we are changing a lot of things in Hawaii, but that it's just very different, over the island. But I try to bring it here to Arizona. Um, some people are a little like weirded out. But I'm sorry, but like I said, America is founded on immigrants. And I think people forget that it's founded on immigrants, and you might feel bad about it, you might feel uncomfortable about it, but the middle class and immigrants have made America, and I want people to know that. Um, And hopefully the Asian hate will stop because of Kamala Harris. She's Indian, so she has a little, she has a background, and then she's African American. I'm so excited to see that debate. I know that we're talking to politics more, but these are things that I've been talking about. And just Trump just rambles so much, and it's just, and then people endorse him like RFK. That's so a conspiracy theorist too. Like he believes that autism, or his vice president that he had at the time believed, well, yeah, he believes a lot of the shots are why the outcomes of autistic people have what they have, um, in ADHD and all that other stuff. It's just so conspiracy theory thing. So that's just weird. But this week has been interesting. Um, I finally figured something out that with addictions, because you know I've been going through that recovery. That's hard, very hard, right? Um, but you should also not get down on yourself with that. Um, and I notice is that we should, with addictions, just because you mess up the one day, you just hop back up the next day, and if you can't, you just keep on going. But I'm not gonna start over and do day one again. I'm gonna just get back up and then add it to the end of um my period, that because I messed up on a day, so I just add a day to it. So hopefully people will think that way. Because that makes more sense to me. Um, but yeah, I also got to talk to people, some of my family back home. So that's always nice to talk to people from home, always. And I try to bring it here to Arizona as much as I can. Um, and yeah, this week has been a little different this week. Not a big podcast this week. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I went to mainly doctors. Oh, yeah, I gotta figure out my back problem. That one is, whew, jeez. You guys have back problems, y'all. Whew, those are bad. Okay. I know. I'm 26. Trying to stay in shape, right? Um, and also be careful, because I know people in New York are experiencing a Nile virus right now, and please go get your COVID shot when it comes out. Get your flu shot. Go get that too. So really, I'm just waiting for September, and then also just thinking about rent, how am I gonna pay the rent, and hopefully I'm not homeless. And then the last thing, I just hate fighting for my accommodations for school. Just hate talking about this stuff over and over and getting rejected. That is the hardest thing for me. Um, but I've faced rejection a lot, so it's not new to me. And I hate lies. I hate lies so much. I really do. I hate it a lot. And yeah, that stuff is very slick. And so I have a navigator, and he's helping me whatever he needs to help me with. And he's like, well, I used to be a person that knew how to do IEPs, and knew about these all this accommodations and stuff. He's like, I didn't see anything with the IEP or anything like that. And I'm like, dude, it's right in front of your face, dude. I think the thing that he didn't want to do was he didn't want to print those papers out. I don't know, for the money. I don't know, making an excuse for everything. And So it just makes it more irritating. But I'm getting stuff done that I need to get done. Um, and I'm asking for more accommodations with my sign language interpreting because it really does make a difference. When I watch my interpreter, it really makes a difference. It explains it a lot more than people think. Like talking to you, talking to a regular person, just normal like this, it's pretty hard for me compared to talking to somebody that can sign language. It's like a different language, you know? So I don't know if people will understand that, but yeah, it's very different. Um, and I'm gonna go a little bit to the LGBTQ plus. I have respect for y'all. I have respect for everybody community, right? Like I said, I'm very diverse. I have respect for the LGBTQ, and I'm gonna leave it at this note. The LGBTQ plus community. I respect who you are, whatever you do. But if you're gonna come after my character about disabilities and you're not gonna understand it, I'm gonna have an issue with that, right? Because I can respect you for that, right? Whatever you're doing. But if you can't give me the same respect back, and I don't know why I should give you respect if you can't give me the respect back, right? It goes back and forth, right? But so I think the LGBTQ thinks because they are so outcast already and they're different that they can't accept another level of it. Like that's another level of it. It's just too much. No, I feel like disabilities and having being different like the LGBTQ plus community, it makes it a higher level. Like it's way different, you know? And so I think people in the LGBTQ plus community, they are uncomfortable with that part of it. So hopefully not everybody, but I'm, trying to advocate more into the LGBTQ plus community because, like I said, I respect you and I ask for the respect back. That's all I ask, right? So yeah. But yeah, this has been my week. It is August 31st. We are almost into September. I know the first debate is coming up with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, and I'm so excited for that. But we still have a lot to get done, and Kamala Harris is still the underdog. So people say, she's going ahead in polls, but she's still the underdog at the end of the day. Um, so we will see in November what happens. Um, yeah, get people out there to vote because we need a path to go forward. And I tell this everybody, we need a path to go forward. Um, it's just too much trying to go back, like it's just not. And so hopefully everybody understands this. And it's just trashy. There's a lot of trash in this today. So, Real Trash Podcast, thank you for being here with me and the Ohana. Thank you so much, Ohana Angels, the Real Trash Podcast. Thank you for liking my reels, my dancing reels. Thank you for watching my podcast. I really appreciate it. And thank you for commenting. If you hate it, if you don't, thank you for all the comments because I really do appreciate every little view. Um, and yeah, thank you so much. So hopefully we see what happens next week. Um, I'm just happy I got to be on a weekly update with you. Um, and yeah, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And as I always say at the end of my YouTube videos or my podcast, Real Trash Podcast, we hope and always be yourself. Oh, Real Trash Podcast. Okay. See you all later, and I'll see you on the next podcast episode. Love y'all, and see you later. Bye. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.